Align yourself first, and then it will happen. And this is a message that I got today when I woke up. I was contemplating my decisions just because last night I didn't have the most, I guess you could say, disciplined night. I got home, and instead of going straight to bed and just preparing for the next day, I decided to uh, just eat food because I'm like usually I'm fasting by this time. Eat food and then just mess around on the computer and not really do anything that uh, was worthwhile. And I knew I was doing it while I was doing it because in that moment I felt there was no inspiration. And I think the biggest thing for me was the lack of inspiration, the lack of motivation. Usually that's a sign for me to just go to sleep, take a nap, disconnect and find my flow again. And so I went to bed and I woke up, and it's not a horrible thing. It's not the end of the world, but I ended up asking myself, like, what are you doing, right? And I woke up, and the answer was, the reason you didn't have any motivation or any inspiration was because you weren't aligned, right? It just wasn't the time for you to do it. And so the premise became align yourself first, and then it will come to you. And what I mean, it can be anything. And most people in the manifestation sphere are going to be talking about money and relationships, etc. But for me, like in that moment, what I wanted was just direction. I just wanted direction. What should I do next? Should I go to sleep, or should I work on all these other projects that I have? Which ones do I choose? Which ones do I prioritize? And the answer came to me, which was, you once you align, you'll get the answer. And so this is going to also come from right now, just also building off of the previous video that I made on concepts. The proof of concept is a waste of time. It's going to kind of piggyback off that thought, but basically what I've realized is that I was looking at my life, and I've gotten to a place where the life that I have right now was a life that I dreamed of, that I asked for a long time. Since I was like back in 2018, I was a kid, and I knew I wanted to have a wife and a child by the age of 25, and that's just something that I knew inherently within myself. And so I went through so many things. I learned to talk to women. I really made that a priority. I developed my own way of talking to women. I broke a lot of belief systems that are still prevalent today in terms of dating and love and relationships. I had my one girlfriend that was legitimately, I think she was my first official girlfriend, and then that didn't work out. And then 1 month later, I manifested my wife, and then after that, I found out she was pregnant within the next 3 to 4 months of us getting together. And then now I have my son. He's a beautiful boy, and he's truly a blessing, right? And he is what I have asked for. He is everything that I've asked for and more. And sometimes I get caught up, in my day to day, and I'm like, questioning, okay, what's the next step? What's next? Getting caught up because I do want to provide for my family. I do want to get us up ahead, but I don't like embodying that state. And so reflecting on these manifestations has allowed me to reflect on my power to manifest. And it really goes back to that idea of, you can have a concept, but that concept won't manifest or won't become a reality unless you have refined yourself to the point where you're able to bring that forth. And this also ties a lot with Abraham Hicks' teachings. Like I was wondering, okay, the way that I manifested my son and my wife, I want to manifest my career now. I want to manifest my business now in that same way, that it became exactly what I wanted and more, and it was on my terms, and it was and it was something that came straight from my heart, from my soul. And so I've been thinking about that because through the past few years, I've been working out what does it mean to have a business. What is it like? What is my specialty? What am I good at? And through these years, I started my YouTube channel back in, I don't know, I think like 2019, 2020 was when I started to take it more seriously. And so I guess we could call that the beginning of me beginning my business. And through that time, I've developed a lot of interest, so many things. I've expanded. I left YouTube. I've come back, and all these things, right? And I feel like now I'm getting closer to aligning this thing together, because at first I wanted it to just be like my family and then my business, and these things were kind of separated. But now I want it to be all one, where everything is aligned. Everything is revolving around my purpose. Um, and I believe that that's more difficult because a lot of people don't see business that way. A lot of people like to differentiate, separate things, and what I'm looking to create is something that's not been seen. It's a concept that exists outside of reality. It's a concept that exists only within my own mental sphere. And so the working out of this concept, it was first an idea, and now I'm aligning myself in a way where it's beginning to become something that can be a reality. And and so um, so I found myself realizing, okay, like, even this situation, that this restaurant job that I got, I was asking for that, and the job that I got before that was also something that I was asking for, um, because I left my 9 to 5. I hated it. I didn't want to be working for somebody, but then that ended up putting me in debt because I went all in on YouTube and it didn't work out. So I got put in debt. Now I find myself paying off that debt while also raising a son. Um, so it got me into the sticky situation, which I wanted to alleviate, right? I wanted to fix that. And so that meant, I was like, in my head, I told myself, well, you know what? I wouldn't mind working part-time or full-time if it was a place that I could contribute to, where like I found myself getting challenged, where I was learning and it was something fun, and I found lessons within that. And so that did eventually end up happening. I found this new job, and it was challenging, similar to my previous job, which was high volume, but this one had a lot more, strictness to it. And so then through that, through entering that space, me also being aware of the reasons why I hate 9 to 5s, or just hate working for somebody else, being an employee. I was able to sort of mediate between those contradictions, and I found some peace. I found some stability. But then I was asking for more. I ended up asking for more, which is obviously just a part of life. You expand, and then you achieve what you wanted, and then you want to expand even more. So then, I was asking for a place where I could be recognized more, and a place where I can actually grow into being a server and making more money while also not working as much. And I'm situated in that place, and it's most likely going to happen pretty soon, within the next months or even sooner, where I'll be working as a server, making more money while also not working as much. And but this has called into question a lot of things for myself. It's called into question, like, okay, if I was able to manifest my family, if I was able to manifest my wife, the perfect woman that I was looking for, the perfect son, the perfect family, and then also now the perfect job. If I was able to do that, then what could I do if I if I had no limits, right? If I thought, instead of thinking in terms of probability, which is where I'm thinking in terms of like, okay, the next job, the next better job. No, what if I thought in terms of possibility, and it became a matter of, okay, given everything was perfect and I could have whatever I want, what would it be? And so, I want to now develop, now that I've seen this, and it's almost like calling me back to my power, calling me back to my ability to manifest. Now that that's happened, I've come up with some ideas, and 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 so I realized that it's about alignment, right? I think the idea of who I want to be, at first, I've been thinking about, okay, it's about what I'm going to be doing. I want to be a YouTuber talking to people. I want to be an animator, or I want to be, or even get into coding, or I want to be this, day trader, and so you get stuck into a very sticky situation if you start thinking about manifesting the thing that you want to do, and I think that's been the issue, because that leads to me getting attached to a specific situation, and also me getting attached to a specific action. I'll find myself at night, and I'll be wondering, okay, what should I do next? Um, and then and then and then if I was a different kind of person, me not knowing what to do next would lead me into some kind of depression, because I feel like I'm not clear enough, or I'm a mess, or I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing, and that I believe that happens to a lot of people. And so with the conclusion today of align yourself first, and it will come. Um, and the answer isn't about what I'm supposed to be doing, it's about who I am. And I think the issue that has arisen when it comes to manifestations and like me getting what I want, is that I've been trying to picture exactly what I'm doing. Oh, I'm gonna be a writer, and I'm gonna be doing this and that, waking up and doing this and that. But I don't want to think about it that way. I realize that that's not how it works, or how it works best. For me right now, it's like, who do I want to be? How do I want to influence people? What's going to be I guess not so much the legacy or the inheritance that I bring onto this world. And the answer came to me. It's like, if you want to manifest your dream life, it obviously is going to shift back to manifesting your dream self. Who are you at your core? And this goes back to the previous video again, because you can have the concept of like the dream life, right? But it's not going to happen if you don't have the vehicle that can allow this concept to be embodied, to be transmitted, to be transmuted, and brought forth into this world. So and it's beautiful, because it kind of clicks. It's like, I have always talked about the importance of the inner work, about healing, and about integrity, connecting to the soul, connecting to your soul purpose. I've always talked about that, and that's been a core message of mine. And now that I think about that, it's like, well, that's one of the things that's going to help you manifest and change your identity. Like, psychology, kind of psychology that I talk about is about transformation. It's about completely changing identity, becoming somebody new, entering the fire, and dying and rising as a phoenix. The story of Scorpio, right? The death and rebirth. So on this topic, I realized that alignment is what allows you to transform. Aligning to your soul, aligning to your higher self, aligning to that which you are at your heart, allows you, is within itself, it is an act of transformation. And because it's not always going to be all good stuff, right? Like for me, aligning to my dream partner pushed me to be very diligent in terms of my thoughts, my actions, writing to the T what kind of person I wanted, and also creating boundaries, saying these are things that I want to have, these are things that I'm going to say no to. And and when I would meet people, I'd let them know, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And so that strictness, that it didn't come as a result of being disciplined. It came as a result of me being aligned. And so because I wanted it, and I knew that that's what I wanted, it only made sense that I say no to certain things. And it only made sense that I did protect my energy, not because of fear of being changed or being hurt, but because I just knew that wasn't what I wanted. So with that point being said, I want to now move on to this idea of manifestation through alignment being creation without resistance, means creation without effort, effortless manifestation. I think that that's really something that that is really coming to mind. And I'm realizing it now. Like the conclusion, I'll say two things. The first one being what I'm shooting for, and then the second thing, how that's going to look like. So right now I've entered a position where I've realized, okay, I'm done working as an employee. I think I've learned all the lessons that I needed to as an employee. I've manifested everything that I wanted as an employee. Um, and I realized that it would pay off a lot more for me to just focus on my business, my projects, hone in on my craft, than it would be for me to benefit somebody else, because nobody else is going to see you at your full potential. Um, Nobody else can do that aside from yourself, right? Like, only you can determine how valuable you are, how much worth you carry within you. And it only makes sense for me to play my game, for me to play in my field of expertise. So now I've realized, I broke away from also a lot of ideas around business, a lot of ideas around what is success. And so this period of 2 years that I've been undergoing and focusing on business has allowed me to understand and now break away, and both from employment and also from certain systems of certain ways of doing business. And so now I have my own philosophy, my own way of doing things, and also my own sense of confidence. For example, even though now I'm getting people coming to me and wanting to support what I'm doing. A lot of people like the way I think. A lot of people are interested in what I have to say, and it's been very great. But I've realized that isn't the point of things. I've realized that right now, like, I don't even think about money that much either. Like, I go to work, and as long as I'm paying my bills and whatever, like, and as long as I'm not getting ripped off, then I'm happy. I don't feel undervalued. I feel like this is only a point in transition, right? I feel like this is only a result of me being who I am, and so, like, my life has now become more of who I truly am. For example, like at home, with my partner, with my son, like, me being myself feeds the system. While also, like, at my job, me being myself also feeds the system. And then also, like, in any community or any relationship, I've found myself now that me being myself feeds the system more than it takes away from it, or messes with it. Which means that now that I can see that, now what I'm seeking to do is me be myself, but onto the world, right? And so once I become myself, I can feed the world, and that can amplify the world in a way that can't be really measured or understood. So um, so I want to break away from the business, and I find myself now. I see myself being a thought leader. I am this person who can synthesize and bring these different fields together and create something very meaningful. I understand that that's one of the things that I'm very capable of. It's almost like a magician or some sort of creator, because I can dive into many topics: creativity, trading, psychology, spirituality, uh, health, politics, all these things. Like, the moment that I step into any field now, I'm only seeking to learn more and expand more, and that leads to a revolution of the field within my mind. And then, as I continue to project myself onto the world, it will lead to changes in the systems themselves. So, um, so what I realize now is not that I'm trying to manifest a specific place or a specific thing. What I'm manifesting is a higher ability to be myself, a higher ability to project myself onto the world. And I'm seeing that very interestingly, where circumstance doesn't impose itself onto me. I impose myself onto circumstance, and obviously it can, it's not perfect, but little by little I am doing that. And so how is that going to play out? Well, I think mainly what I see is just me continuing to make more videos, because I also realized another thing, which is, even when I wasn't worried about money, when I was honestly done trying to chase fame, once I was done, and I just dedicated myself to my family and spiritual development. Even then, I couldn't stop recording myself. I couldn't stop being on camera. I couldn't stop sharing my message. I couldn't, like, and I realized that is something inherent within me. That is something that I was born with. That was something that comes natural to me, and so and that's something that if I couldn't do that, I don't think I'd have the same. I don't think I'd be here. I don't think I'd be alive, to be honest, if I couldn't share my voice in the way that I do. I think that even if I were to be, alone and homeless, I would still be recording my videos and uploading it, just because um, I have something to say, and I want people to who are similar, who are in similar wavelength, to be helped by by me, to be maybe my thoughts can help out, and more importantly, it's for the people who need to hear it too. Like, I don't want to be doing, like, I just do this just because it's natural to me, really. And so that's also a very good piece of information that is very vital to my steps ahead, as I know that me speaking is just a part of me. I know that me being online is just a part of me, and I can't, nobody can take that away from me. And so yeah, so I do plan on then continuing to make videos, continue to make those, to do these things, but it's not really so much strategic. It's not so much about like me trying to hit a specific goal or a specific metric. Um, it just comes naturally because my soul wants me to do it. Like, now that I think about it, every time I record a video, I feel better. Whenever I don't record for a while, I just get depressed. I feel like directionless. I feel disconnected from my purpose. So this is a big part of my purpose. Um, and I do have plans to like get back into the dance scene. I do want to be a dance, like I am a dancer at my heart, and that is I see myself going into that space and teaching concepts that have helped me enhance my communication skills and enhance my ability to connect at a deep level with other people. It's taught me a lot about body language too. So me going into that space and helping people connect to themselves through dance, right? Like, that's something I want to contribute to dance. When it comes to my family, I just see myself being able to make money like without a problem. Day trading in the mornings, just because that's something that's fun. I think that that's something that I'm going to be very good at, or I am good at. I have an innate talent in that, I believe. Um, and then also just experimenting with animation, and putting videos out there. But the main point, though, is that I'm not moving from strategy. I'm not moving from trying to achieve a specific thing. All I'm doing is wanting to express myself. And if strategy does get involved, that is strategy for the sake of fun, or for the sake of um, being more of myself, then it is strategy for the sake of getting something from the outside world. So the motivation is more so innate rather than external. I'm not trying to get something. I'm trying to express something. And also right now, um, I've been kind of like on this wave. It's been kind of like, it started kind of like 70% internal, 30% external motivation. I think now I'm moving more towards 80%, um, 80 to 90% at times. But um, but the thing that I do want to highlight, and this is another point, which is that it's not about the work that you do, it's about who you are. Um, because the work for me, like, I could get thousands of views on a video, which I have gotten, or I could get just 10 views on a video, and they both mean the same to me. There's no difference in them. To me, which is very interesting to think. Um, like, and I think that says something, which is that I value more myself, being in alignment, myself being true to myself, than I do value other people's opinions of who I am. And this could be a whole nother conversation, but there was a point that Rick Rubin said. He's a artist. I guess I could say an artist. He wrote a book on creativity, but he said that you don't do the art for other people, you do it for yourself. And I think a lot of people get that, misunderstand that. But what I get from that is that You do the art because it's a part of you. It's a part of like of who you are. It's a way like I do my work because it's just a part of who I am. I record videos just because that's innate to me, just like breathing. And it's only natural that because it's a part of me, that as I grow and as I develop as an individual and as I evolve, so will be the works that I put out into the world. And so as I align and get closer to my true self, or as I align and evolve more into a bigger, more competent individual, more expansive, then my work will reflect that. And so, um, and so then the external label is thrown away, and you're not worried about what people think about your work. You're just more worried about who you need to become next. What's the next evolution? What wants to be born through you, um, than anything else. That's like the main priority. Um, and yeah, and so then it does become this like chase, not this chase, but this like dance engagement with the inner self, the true self, and and yeah, and so alignment becomes a priority, and it plays out very interestingly. Like the more you align to yourself, the more answers you will get. You know, like I don't go to the gym even though I would like to. Like there's an idea, a belief in me that says like you should be going to the gym, but that's coming more from my ego. I do exercise though. I've never done yoga, but now like the past few weeks I've been doing yoga like almost like 5 to 7 times a week, without miss. And I don't have to discipline myself to do that. It just happened because I was just aligned to my true self. And it's the same thing with like changing my diet. Like now there's much more. Um, it makes you know like discipline becomes the line of least resistance. And I think that's a really important quote. And I guess I could finish this video off like. Discipline becomes a line of least resistance when you're connected to your true self, when you are aligned. The hard things become easier. They only become more logical. They only make more sense because you're not thinking of them in terms of effort. You're thinking of them in terms of like, that's just what I do. That's just something natural to me. Uh, so if you do find yourself lost and you do find yourself questioning, what should I be doing? In the same position as I was, the answer is to seek alignment first. There are some strategies, take a nap, read, meditate, journal, sleep, and let the answer come to you. And then, another thing could be like do what you are most excited about. You don't need a reason to do it. You just accept for the fact that you're excited about it and continue to do that. And along the way, you'll get more answers. But yeah, and remember that it's not about what you do; it's about who you are and who you're becoming. And the more you hone in on that, you will find the things that are really meant for you, and the things that are fun and that feed your soul. And so then you will be able to create something around you that you will be proud of and that will fulfill you. But that's it. All right, thanks for tuning in. It's your boy, Davidson. Peace.